have been informed that this activity is prohibited. Put the signs down, please. I am asking you to leave now.
And this is an infringement on our right to freedom of speech as tuition-paying students on this campus. We will proceed because we are students on this campus and are being silenced because we are expressing a view that is unpopular.
And that was Ruth Lobo in October 2010, being arrested for protesting against abortion on the campus of Carleton University here in Ottawa. She joins us now again from Calgary. Her name now, though, Ruth Shaw. Ruth, we wanted to have you on because your alma mater is having another bout of forgetfulness on what I would consider first principles of a university. They are once again trying to make sure that only clubs and only people with the right political views can join clubs and the like. What is wrong with Carleton?
You know, Ryan, I wish I could answer that question, but I can't. I don't understand why there continues to be a driving force against freedom of speech at Carleton University, and why the Student Association continues to do things that make me ashamed of my university.
We've got some questions that will be put, and we'll read off the exact wording of the questions in a moment, but help me out here and help out the viewers. Explain what's going on. There's a referendum of sorts to ban stuff. How did this start? What's going to come about of it? And then we'll read off the exact wording of what's happening.
So a series of referendum questions was introduced at the last Student Association Council meeting, and the 7 questions have to do with a variety of different issues, and through a lack of process, the referendum questions were supposed to be submitted to the council beforehand for review, but they weren't. They were just presented at the meeting. And if these referendum questions go through for the students to vote on, then it's very possible that many groups on campus or several issues on campus will be silenced as a result of students voting on very discriminatory things. All
right. Well, Vanden Jean, who is a student at Carleton University, a regular viewer of Byline, sent us a copy of questions that the Carleton University Students Association is putting into the referendum. Let's read off a couple of them. Question number 4. Are you in favor of banning groups such as Lifeline, the Genocide Awareness Project, Campaign for Life Coalition, and other organizations whose primary purpose is to use inaccurate information and violent images to discourage women from exploring all options in the event of pregnancy from Carleton University campus? I would say that that's a pretty broad and sweeping description of a bunch of pro-life groups put in a very negative way.
Yeah, you'll notice that the question is very, very, it's trying to lead students to pick something, right? It's not neutral. It's very loaded.
Yeah, well, let's put it this way. I've worked with several pollsters over the years. If I was to try and put a poll question in like that, I don't know a single one that would let me do it. Question number 7. This one says, are you in favor of amending CUSA's, that's the University Student Association's, CUSA's anti-discrimination on-campus policy to include banning all groups that promote guns and gun violence? I believe there's a sports shooting club on campus.
Yeah.
So they're taking aim. They're essentially saying, if you're pro-life or you like guns, we don't like you. Next year, is it going to be if you belong to the conservative campus club, or you belong to the Edmund Burke Society or the G.K. Chesterton Society, we don't like you and you're banned?
Right, yeah, this pretty much gives them permission to ban whatever they deem to be offensive. And, you know, regardless of whether or not you love guns or hate guns or whether you're pro-life or pro-choice, these are all issues that need to be decided on and discussed by students. What is Carleton University and the Student Association afraid of by having these topics discussed widely on campus?
On the question on the pro-life clubs, they mentioned the graphic images of some. But not all those pro-life clubs use graphic images. So if they're really upset about the graphic images, they're kind of trying to say, all of them use that, therefore we can't do this.
Right. Or, even in 2006, when CUSA tried to ban our club initially, we weren't using graphic imagery at the time. And so this is really about content. This is about the fact that we are trying to educate women about abortion on campus, which they deserve. Women deserve this information. And if the student union is going to ban a certain aspect of the debate, that they're doing a great disservice to all women and men on campus who deserve better. They deserve to know what abortion is.
If you speak to people that went to university a long time ago, they'll say, oh, go to university, explore the world, let your mind grapple with all the big questions. You're a very recent grad. Is it a place that encourages open discussion, open exploration of ideas, or is university, both the student body and the faculty, the classroom setting, is it a closed-minded sort of environment?
I would say that they're open to a point, and then when we start to disagree, then, oh, no, that's offensive, what you're saying, and then we're done. So, as long
that's
as you
pretty
agree,
much a closed shop and a closed-minded environment.
Yeah. Well, Brian, actually, I took a class when I was in school at Carleton on reproductive rights, and there was absolutely no mention of preborn children or the rights of the preborn, anything like that. Even that side of the debate at all was totally left out of the classroom. And if I hadn't been in the classroom, there would those students, other students wouldn't have got any, neutral education or fair education. It was entirely about reproductive rights policy and why we should have abortion in Canada and the States.
I wish I could say that this was just about Carleton, which, I remember when I was in high school, a friend choosing Carleton because he wanted to go to a good left-wing school. Those were his words. Carleton, I guess, hasn't left that behind. It still is. But this happens on campuses across the country. UVic, McMaster, U of T. Are young people just afraid of having their views challenged at all? Is that what's happening? Because I am honestly trying to understand this, and I'm having great difficulty.
I also have great difficulty. I find that the students very much want to have these issues discussed. Whenever we've had events on campus, we've had lots of discussion, lots of healthy debate on these issues. It's what I find to be the people in power who are afraid of these questions coming out, but it's very confusing because most of the people in the administration are, the older people who are giving the leadership to the student union through their actions on these issues. It wasn't so long ago that in their own university, they were talking about civil rights and the rights of black people, the rights of women. So why have we forgotten our history so quickly?
Yeah, well, I always love the signs that you see. It says, question everything, and then you question those people about their views, and they get quite indignant. All right. Well, Ruth Shaw, thanks for coming in and helping us. Well, we didn't really figure out what's wrong with Carleton, but you answered a few questions for us. And thanks to Vand and Jean who sent in the questions.